So, the real near-death experiences were all within a year's period of time for me. I had injured myself a third time and was serious. And with as difficult a time I had and as serious an injury I had the first time, whenever I re-injure my back, I have post-traumatic stress. It sends me right back to that original inability to feel my legs or move my legs, and the concern of complete paralysis forever. Wheelchairs, living in an upstairs dwelling, transportation, not to mention all the health problems that occur from somebody that doesn't have the use of their legs. And shortly after that, the woman I had been with for 7 years, well, the way my friend says it is, when poverty knocked on the front door and love ran out the back. But I don't blame her. She had to think for her own self and her own family. And there was a death of love that I revisited, the loss of love, because my children's mother made a choice similar in some ways from my experience. But from her experience, I have to give credit and respect to the fact that they lead their own life and have their own life, and we're liberatoriously free to do as we wish, whether I agree or disagree. So, the loss of my physical health was the first step. Then, a few months later, the loss of love. So, with the loss of my physical came the loss, number 3, of my ability to work. Then, a few months after that, I lost my children. And at this point, I was in a serious psychological crisis in consciousness. Everything I had identified myself with, from every waking moment was, what do the girls need? What do the girls need? What's the next thing? How am I going to get it? How is it going to happen? And then all of a sudden that was gone. So my identity, rooted in my body, was dissolving. Rooted in my love was dissolving. My love relationship. My work dissolving. My identity with work was dissolving. Now my identity as a man and a father was dissolving. As a man in general around all those things. And then I went to a doctor because I had had some blood work done. I was going through all kinds of emotional stuff, and I was talking to the doctors about it, and they did some blood work. And I had actually been going to this doctor, and she said, I don't know why I didn't take this test in the beginning. I always test all of my patients for this, and for some reason I didn't test you, but I'm testing you now. And I had been seeing her for about a year, and she said, oh, results came back. She said, this shows that you have, this is typical blood, whatever it was showed brain tumors, and that I needed to see a specialist. And that specialist told me, after months of waiting, no, it was 5 weeks, it took 5 weeks. to make my final arrangements. And so there was the actual facing of death, because she had to go in. They were on the pituitary, cysts on the pituitary or tumors on the pituitary, and they had to be removed. And 99% of the people die as a result of complications, but they had to be removed. And to make my final arrangements. And when I called my family at the time, being that we were estranged, they didn't believe me and they didn't care, which just really cinched the whole thing together.